working on it, it's live.
Okay. Let's call this meeting to order for, when are we on here? June 9th, 2026 at 6:34 p.m. First, to start off with, do we have any public comment? Actually, we don't have any members of the audience. First things first, we have a review of a revised than what you got in your packet. So if you want to take a minute, the motion edited.
Okay.
Take a minute to check over that. Has everybody had a chance? I know, Mr. Westfall, you weren't here.
Yeah. So I can't really.
That's okay. We still have a quorum.
Yeah. I do have a question, not actually about the.
All right, well, let's get through what's on the table first.
Okay.
So I will entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion that we accept the minutes.
Well,
As
I have a question about the minutes.
Oh.
Not the content of the minutes.
Okay.
Commissioner Torbert's term, when will that be? Was he still a commissioner at this point, and how long will he be a commissioner? Do you have that information handy?
I don't have it right here with me.
My reason I'm asking is, if his term was up, his name shouldn't be on there as absent. And I don't remember. I mean, it's been a question before, and I don't remember the answer.
Well, the last I heard is someone was gonna get a resignation from him.
Mrs. Torbert said that she was going to give us a resignation letter, but if his term has expired and he has not made an appearance in
Well,
I'm not
3
sure
years,
that
2
it
years?
expired yet, because
Okay.
It was just a couple months before his stroke that.
Okay.
So we would go out with the presumption that his term had not expired, so it was appropriate to list him as absent on here. Okay,
He's essentially vacated the seat. He hasn't been here for
he's only been to one meeting. I
a
don't want to
few,
get into
a few at the
that.
very beginning, and then he had his health issues.
Okay, and with that,
So is there any objection?
No.
Okay, so we already have a motion on the table to approve the revised minutes. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
I have a second. Ayes?
Aye.
Aye. Aye, so made. Let me put that first copy off to the side. Okay. Did we it go off? That thing just chimed.
No, it was, I turned the temperature up.
Okay, it sounded like that.
Sorry.
That's all right, just checking. All right, so at this point, we will move on to a public hearing for ordinance A25, amending ordinance A1, which is our zoning ordinance pertaining to accessory buildings. This ordinance increases the permitted size of garages and storage sheds in the R1, R2 districts, adds lot coverage requirement for low-rise apartments, two-family, semi-detached dwellings, sets and amends the height limit for garages and accessory buildings in the R3 district, adds an accessory use section in the highway commercial district, and sets limitations on the number and location of accessory buildings in the highway commercial district. Adds an accessory use section in the, what is that, M? What is M?
It's the manufactured light industrial.
Oh, manufacturing. Forget about that because we have so little of it. Manufacturing light industrial district and sets limitations on the number and location of accessory buildings in the manufacturing light industrial district, and raises a number of permitted accessory buildings on a lot from 2 to 5. Since there are so many parts of this, I would recommend, and if the rest of us agree, to go through it section by section.
If I may, it might be a little easier if I can give you an overview of where this came about. If I can
Yes.
provide some context for council or for commission.
Okay, have we all read through it already? We've all read through it, so we understand what it is.
Yeah, but.
I don't understand.
Why does it come here? That's the
This is
question. I
our
have.
ordinance that's being adjusted.
But what occasions, why should we bother to change it? Why should we bother?
Because
There have
some
been-
people own a much larger lot in town than others. And it really,
It's been brought up several times
Yes.
that, I have 3/4 of an acre,
and I have almost.
and I can put
almost-
one shed or 2 sheds.
Right.
I have plenty of
Okay.
land. It doesn't, putting 2 sheds on my property wouldn't violate land use and covered,
You've
with.
spoken of that issue.
We've brought it up before, so
Yes.
that's why this is up.
That's why it's, okay.
So if you have a synopsis, that's fine. I still want to go through it section by section because I did have a few
Sure.
issues with basic geometry.
But, and if I may, so we had a council had earlier this year directed me to look into the accessory building ordinance. And I did that, and we had a workshop at the end of February about that, and that led to some directions from council to work on a draft ordinance, which was then prepared, was introduced, and that's why it's come before you, because it deals with the zoning code. So it comes to you for review and recommendation. There's a public hearing before council tomorrow evening on the state ordinance. What we found in going through the current zoning code, there was a lot of discrepancies. And you all have reviewed this code ad nauseum. There's some areas of the code that could be improved upon, and appears to be one of them. There are sections that are silent on accessory buildings. There's some that are some inconsistencies within certain types of properties. And what council at the workshop, their missive was, let's have some clear standards that are consistent through the zoning districts themselves. In going through this exercise, I found there was some language that was worded inconsistently in various things. So you might see some things that kind of technical. That's just a cleanup in some respects. Like it says 2 1/2 in some places, it says 2 1/2 in the other. We're just cleaning that up to make.
So the language is all the same.
Exactly. So there's some of that we came across as well. But the gist of what council at that workshop, it kind of and they're gonna vote on this, they may change their mind after they have public hearings on it and seen the ordinance. But the kind of the goal there was, let's increase the size of the allowable garages. Let's increase the size of sheds and also increase the potential number of those on lots. So to your point, Mr. Chairman, if you've got a large lot, you may want to have more than one shed. It would allow for that. Currently, you're allowed 2. This would increase that number to 5. If you wanted to have a shed or a garage that was 1,000 square feet, it would be an increase. In some of the districts, there was no language allowing for accessory sheds or accessory structures. So this allows for that in those districts, assuming they can meet setbacks and lot coverage. We also found some inconsistencies with lot coverage requirements. So that is kind of part of this, because that does tangentially touch on some of these accessory building issues. We said, well, let's, go through that and address it. Now, council was, and again, they'll have their hearing on this, but when they had the workshop, here's some things we'd like to see, and let's see how this goes. And I think the goal there, or the stated goal at that workshop, was let's have some clear standards that allow for these structures in a more clear, concise manner that we currently don't have in the code. There's, as you know, areas of the code that can be improved upon. As I said before, this is, I think, one of those that council had identified. I think some of you have brought that up at various points as well. So, and I'm sure some constituents have also. So the hope was that we could clean this part of the code up and bring some clarity to that. I know Ms. Cruz was looking at that as well. I don't know, did you have any comments on that? Anything that, before we get into the minutia of these individual things, do you have any comments on it?
So one of the things that the town has seen recently has been a number of building permits that have come in, and town manager can speak to this as well. Number of building permits that have come in because the number of structures, accessory structures allowed has been limited to 2, and the definition of structures, accessory structures, uses, and buildings is not, mutually exclusive, as far as things like a playhouse could be considered an accessory structure that requires now coming before the Board of Adjustment to allow a playhouse in addition to a shed. So this helps to clean up some of those issues as well.
Okay. All right, was there anything specific in what was written that you had any issue with?
Myself, no.
Okay.
I was present for the workshop, so, Mr. Sharp and I had coordinated on this, with any questions or concerns.
Okay. So I think we just do it section by section. Review, because most of this is marked as to what it was and what it is now, or proposed. Did anything change in the preamble in the first?
In the whereas,
Yes.
no, that's just saying where you have the authority to make this,
Okay.
that council believes it's in the best interest to make these.
So we'll go to section 1, which is to amend 6.4, which is downtown commercial district, to add this language. So there isn't anything in there now.
There's nothing in the DC district that allows for accessory buildings at the present.
In the commercial district.
Okay. All right, so 6.4.5, accessory use buildings, structures, the following are permitted that they are subordinate and accessory to the principal building or use in existence or under construction on the same lot and incidental hereto. A, garages not exceeding 1,000 square feet of ground space. And B, storage sheds or related outbuildings not exceeding 250 feet of ground space. This is one of the math things that has come up, and I know this is for the downtown commercial, which is much smaller pieces of land. A standard shed, just a regular off a rollback shed, some of them right off the truck are more than 250 square feet.
That's right.
I have, as a personal example, a 14 by, I think it's 18, so it's like 300 square feet. So just right off the truck for a standard shed is more than through this whole document, some of these limitations.
I thought it was very small.
So that's something that can be checked, because that is really small for a functioning storage shed. Do we have any other issues with section 1 of our review?
I would recommend that, under B, that it should be not exceeding 250 square feet.
Yeah.
Of ground space.
To not exceed 250?
Yeah, outbuildings not exceeding 250 square feet.
That's, yes, it does need square in there. You're correct.
But again, that still is an extremely small.
I'll note this, I think that number came about because the code in the R1 district says 150 square feet.
Yeah, which is tiny.
So,
Yeah.
I know that discussion came up to raise it. Why that number was set at 250, I can't recall, I don't know if Ms. Cruz can, but there was a discussion about that. Certainly we can note that concern. Is there
I would recommend that it be adjusted to a minimum of, or to a maximum of 300. I have a rather large shed, and currently we had it permitted and delivered, and it's bigger than what's in our own code. And it's sitting on my backyard. Had no idea there was a square footage requirement, and it was permitted and approved through our own office. So that definitely needs to be increased.
I think it's 10 by 20.
Yeah, and I have a like 14 by, I think it's 14 by 20, or 14 by 25, I don't remember. It's a decent, it's a big one, but still, it's not outrageous. Okay, so if we have no other objections, can we pass
and would that be
recommendation?
the 300 is your recommendation throughout?
For
For the commercial district.
for any of them, because all right, you're thinking commercial, people are storing inventory, back stock.
Right.
You know, these need to be functional spaces. As long as they don't exceed the ground usage, I don't see a problem with 300 square feet.
What do you mean by exceed ground usage?
There's what is our 60% rule?
Lot coverage, so there is a
Okay.
maximum allowable lot coverage.
So you can't cover more than 60% of the square footage of the property. Now, the commercial lots are much smaller, and a lot of them are paved.
But just to be clear, it's not just 60%, it's 80% in the downtown commercial.
Oh, it is 80% in the down.
80% in
Okay.
highway commercial. It does fluctuate a little
Right.
bit, so.
That's why I was asking is
Sure.
what that zone was. But yeah, I can see that becoming an issue for just about everybody. That, what do you mean I can't have a standard shed that rolls off the back of a truck? You know, and something that's big enough to be actually functional. So I recommend that max be changed to 300 throughout.
And just while we're also, I did see another typo in square feet in section 5. I think those are the only two where we need to add square.
Yes, you're correct.
So,
Yep.
so I've noted that for any potential recommendations.
So Do we all agree?
Are there, I have a question, and I don't know if you can answer this, but are there, towns around us, are there similar, sizes? What are the sizes allowed in from other communities around us? Do we know? Does anybody know?
I've not looked at that as cruise if you.
I do not remember off the top of my head.
Right, would be bigger, this is a curveball, but, you know, I mean, it might be helpful to know what communities around us have done.
I guess if we recommend the 300 as the max, with at least looking into what other towns have to see if it's comparable. If it's still within reason, so be it. We agree?
Yeah.
We all agree? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so let's move on to section 2. Amend section 6.4.4, and in parentheses 4, dimensional regulations in the downtown commercial district to add the following underlined language. Before I read that, what is not underlined, is that all that it currently says?
4 says height of building shall not exceed 2.5 stories or 35 feet. I
Okay.
believe that's exactly what it says. Ms. Cruz is gonna check on that.
So, let's see, 6.4.44, it currently states height of building shall not exceed 2.5 stories or 35 feet.
So some of that was obviously a clarity thing.
Right, part of it is clarity, and then we have added.
And we put whichever is greater
Mhm.
to also provide some clarity there so that for staff and for the public, so they know, hey, you take the taller of the two. And we've done that throughout as well. You may notice similar changes. So this is one of those ones that.
So you're going with a standard 2.5 instead of some places it's written numerically, some places it's written 2.5.
We went with what was in the code elsewhere, so we
Okay.
just try to make it consistent.
So it's everything today is consistently 2.5.
Correct.
All right, so now, since we've heard what the original was, height of principal buildings shall not exceed 2.5 stories or 35 feet, whichever is greater. Height of accessory buildings other than garages shall not exceed 15 feet in height. Garages shall not exceed a height of 20 feet and have a roof pitch of not less than 812. I do like that the 812 is in there because of the overall architectural style of the town. We don't need a ton of flat metal buildings. The only issue I have with that is the height max. If, say you have a large vehicle, you have something with a box truck, most of those garage doors are 15 feet. Plus an 812 pitch, you're gonna exceed 20 feet if you've got 2 or 3 bays.
I think where we were going off of, Mr. Chairman, was when again, we're looking at what's in the code now.
Mhm.
And if you go, and I'm just gonna go through the districts so that you can see what the heights are, okay? In the R1 district, for a private garage, it's 20 feet with a roof pitch not less than 812. In the R2 district, for a garage, it's 20 feet with a roof pitch not less than 812. In the R3 district, for a single family semi-detached, a 2-family detached, it is a 20 foot with a roof pitch of not less than 812.
Mhm.
If it's a garden or low-rise, a two-family, detached, semi-detached, townhouses, or road dwelling, says 10 feet except for private garage. We have downtown commercial, we didn't have accessory buildings, so we didn't have anything there. Highway commercial, nothing there. And then in the manufacturing, that district, it was just 35 feet. So I think we're looking at the 12, that was to make it consistent because there was no standards.
Okay,
So it was not to necessarily change what's in the code, but to actually provide standards for what they're structured.
this is what I said earlier, was I had a little bit of issue
Sure.
with geometry. That as I read through this, some of these did not work.
I understand. I will also say that,
Oops, sorry, my alarm.
that there are portions of, that are not in this code, like the R1 district, for example, because there were no changes made to the height there. So any changes beyond that may necessitate a larger discussion.
Because that comes back, I assume that R1 has the same 8, 12, 20 feet.
Yes, that's what's in the code now.
But if you have an RV, it's not gonna fit,
Or a boat.
or a large boat that is garage kept.
35-foot height?
Huh?
You don't think an RV would fit in a building with a 35-foot?
20 foot.
It's 20 foot.
That's my problem, is that 20-foot cap with an 8, 12 minimum pitch. If you have the property, all right, an example, there's one on Beaver Street that's a 4-bay garage that I don't think has an 8, 12 pitch. But I can tell you right now, it's got a lower pitch and it's just barely under 20 feet. And that's all this with standard garage doors. If you have anything bigger where you need a taller garage door for private use on private property,
Well,
that height cap does not work.
the one that they just built,
Yeah.
I guess we gave a variance for it.
Oh, on the other side of Governor. Yeah, that's got big
My neighbor.
garage doors.
I'm
Yeah,
talking, that's gotta be more than, what, 15 feet? It's huge. The whole thing is, end is. And the
So-
building is, I don't
What
know,
the height
I'm not
measure
good
of
like
the
you
building.
are because I'm not a contractor, but that's tall.
So all I'm saying is that geometry
And that's just been built.
for a regular
That's
1.5
And
car
he saw it.
garage,
He got
yeah, that works.
Variance.
So did he have to get a variance for
He
that?
did,
I'm pretty sure his building permit it's 20 feet. The height is 20 feet. He had to get a variance for, yeah. so that's-
Yeah, it is
the
tight.
side
Yeah, I know it's tight to the one side, yeah. So
And
that,
what is the ground coverage for that, the residential there?
60.
60%?
For what district, if it's an R1 district, it's
See, I don't
45%.
know which,
45%? 40,
45,
not more than 45%.
correct.
So not even half of the property.
mhm. It's to allow for drainage and runoff.
Have you been over
I've only seen it from the street.
there?
Okay.
look at it every day.
So I
These are
just have an
questions that
issue
we
with that
actually know
geometry.
and thought through before you built the whole thing.
And I know that, like you said, this is adding into sections that didn't have anything. But if it doesn't work in these, then it doesn't work in the same places that's already written. All right, my home example. I have an 11, 12 pitch. I want to build a garage that matches the architectural style of my house. Can't fit. What do we do? And that's just matching existing architectural style. That's not anything out of the ordinary.
Well, you can build up to 20 feet tall. You're saying that wouldn't allow,
That wouldn't allow me to match the profile of my home.
yeah, it would, but it wouldn't allow you to do something that you want to do with it, is that it?
If I had
You
a
could
standard,
match
if I had a
11,
standard
12.
garage door height and an 11-12 pitch, I would exceed the 20 foot.
You wouldn't exceed it if you had a single wide door, would you?
No, my pitch goes the other way. So it goes front to back.
Oh,
So the 20-foot depth of the garage, an 11-12 pitch, with a 10-foot ceiling, math don't math.
Your new calculator.
So the question to me is, with the proposed height, maximum height on a garage, do you want to allow the taller height as the standard or as an exception to the rule? Where they would have to go for a variance? You know, what is your
Okay,
thoughts
so-
as to what your intent is here?
yeah.
Do you want everyone just to be able to come in and say, okay, I can build to 35 feet so I can house whatever? Or do you want it to be done more specifically?
I would at least want to see it at 25 feet. I'm using my own as a reference, and that architectural style is prevalent in this town. Many of us have high, steep roofs. And if anybody wanted to build something to match their home, even as a standard single car height, that is really tight with no wiggle room. You know, if you decide to add an extra row of block, or, you know, that really can stick it to somebody. So I would recommend a 25 foot. That would work for a standard garage with a steeper pitch if needed.
I'm with you.
Well, I probably will end up with you, but I appreciate the point of your.
No, I
question.
do get your point.
Do we want to just blanket say you can have any height you want,
Mhm.
or, 30 feet, 5 foot? Or do we want to make it possible for specific purposes, like
Right,
an
that they would,
RV? I mean,
they
we're
would need a
sort of
variance for
assuming
the
that we
roof
have to
line.
accommodate those
Right.
things. And do we want to accommodate all that stuff? I guess
what
we
she's
do.
asking is, do we want to accommodate it on a blanket? Or do we want people to need to come in to get a variance for that exceptional height? I don't think 25 feet is exceptionally tall.
Just speaking quickly, okay, I would like time to work this out. I would think having people come in and ask for variances might be a good idea. Because I don't want to automatically say anything to be any.
I'm gonna jump in here. I think you gotta be very careful when you say people can just ask for variances.
Yes.
Variances have to only be granted when there's an exceptional practical difficulty that is not self-created by the applicant. So that usually has to do something inherently with the property. And if you're trying to go up, you're gonna have to demonstrate a good reason as to why you can't develop the conformity with the code. The idea that, and I understand the point, but the idea that you could just apply for variance, and yes, you can, and you may or may not get granted for it. We've seen denials from this town, and not in the fairly decent recent past. You have to understand that it's gotta be for a good reason. Because otherwise, if a board were to simply pass every variance that came in, it would just be a derogation of the zoning code and usurp the authority of the elected body that approves those ordinances. So I get it, it is an option, but it really should be in a unique circumstance, not normal. And it's pretty rare to see that from a height perspective. Usually it would be from a, land use perspective, maybe there's some drainage issues, or there's some unique shape to the property, or an odd size, or something along those lines. Not because I just want to have it tall.
Or if somebody said that they owned, let's say, a tall RV or a boat or something, that's your problem, because that wouldn't be in a variance that somebody's gonna say, oh, that's okay, we understand that. Is that what you're saying? That wouldn't be that's not a good reason
I don't know
to
that
get
it's
the
a great
variance.
reason.
Okay, so,
Variance.
so consequently, that does limit people from
Mhm.
ever being able to have, let's say, for instance, a new boat.
And
Not
having a
necessarily,
building.
restricting them from having a new boat, but
It's just
restricting them from having a
the
new boat
garage
or,
space
or
for-
RV
yeah.
with a garage
Right.
space or
For
a
the garage
property.
space.
Well, that's what I'm saying, yeah.
And do we want to allow all of that?
So
I think probably we do.
my father-in-law dies
would.
tomorrow and leaves us their really nice RV that we want to take advantage of as we're getting older, but we need a garage that fits it. And the town says, well, sorry for your luck, that's not good
Yeah.
enough.
Right. That's,
Just when it could have been taken care of with, that's not that many feet more. To have maybe, I think all these variances, if it was gonna get into a situation where, as he said, that people just have to come one variance after another, that's kind
It is, and it's
of
degrading
bundles
the
up
code.
all of this in, right.
Yeah.
And it's saying in the long run, effectively, the code means nothing anyway, but it also takes the time of this board and other boards and the council to make those decisions.
That's why we're having this discussion.
I wanna ask if everybody would agree to 25 instead of 20.
I would.
Yes, I'd like to, I don't know.
Everybody else to here, I keep having to turn
That's
around
not
to
a
you.
lot. We're not talking
Okay.
about 50 versus 25.
I'd like to see some of the geometry, but
I would like to say that since I've been here, I haven't seen, the only height variance I've seen requested has been for a fence and not for
Yeah.
any accessory.
Well, I'm also looking at the economy is changing. What are people paying to store their RVs and boats? When it
Yeah.
costs nothing to keep it at home. And actually, the storage facility out here, since their expansion, they eliminated all their RV parking. All those people had to take their RVs somewhere else. So, I mean, it's an economic thing too.
And sometimes not, there's just no location.
Right.
That's convenient.
So I would recommend 25 feet across the board.
My second.
I don't think we do it.
No, we're not voting. This is just,
One.
I've got a list of stuff, Mr. Chairman, I'm
Yeah.
sure you do too. When you get to it, perhaps I could craft a motion that we could utilize some of those
Okay.
updates that you're looking for. I will note that the 25-foot height, also appears, just to save us a little time today, we've got staff here. In section 7, in K, it does talk about 20 feet.
7K, yes.
And then also in section 8, which is H, also refers to 20 feet.
Yes,
So I believe those would be the three changes here.
25, and maybe at the end of this, if we can do a motion to amend or make a recommendation to amend the others that are already in the code.
Well, it would be, we can't do it pertaining to this ordinance, but as part of the recommendation, you could say that council also look at adopting an ordinance to standardize the.
To standardize the heights across,
For
the system.
the other districts that are not in this ordinance.
okay,
We could certainly add that to a motion.
okay.
And then they could perhaps act on that at a later time.
Okay. There's a bunch of these. And actually, as we get further through this, we'll hop faster because we're picking it apart and it kind of repeats.
Right.
You're exactly right, Mr. Chairman.
So section 3, amends section 6.1.3A, the accessory uses in the R1 Single Family Residential District, R1 district, by inserting the underlined language and deleting the strike-through language as follows. And thank you for writing it that way. I'd like to see what was taken out and what was put in. So currently, it's private residential garages not exceeding 750 square feet of ground space which has now been adjusted to not exceeding 1,000 square feet of ground space, which is a decent 3-car garage by the math. Are we okay with that?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, yes? Sir?
Yeah.
Thank you. All right, section 4, amend 6.1.3B, accessory uses in the R1 district by inserting the underlined language and deleting the strike-through language as follows. Private storage sheds or related outbuildings shall not exceed 150 square feet of ground space is the current. Recommendation is for related outbuildings not exceeding 250 square feet of ground space. And we've already discussed this, that we are recommending to 300. Everybody okay with that?
Yeah, it's 300, I don't know. How large a unit is that?
You've seen the one sitting in my backyard, that's just
30 by-
under 300 square
30
feet.
by 10?
What size?
Yeah, I think it's 14 by 20. So it's,
That's 280.
yeah, it's just under 300 square feet.
Okay.
And it doesn't look out of place. I have a big piece of property. It's out there in the backyard.
Yeah.
All right, so section 5, amends section 6.3, which is the R3 Garden Apartment and Townhouse District, by inserting the underlying language as follows. 6.3.4, accessory uses, buildings, structures. The following are permitted provided they are subordinate and accessory to the principal building or use in exist. Should that be used?
USCD?
Yes,
Yeah,
thank you.
I think it's used, right?
accessory to the principal or use, no, it's right here.
It is use?
Yeah.
Okay, it just sounds weird on the tongue.
Yeah, because it's whatever the
Yeah.
use is of the property.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So use in existence or under construction on the same lot and incidental thereto. A, garages not exceeding 1,000 square feet of ground space. And B, storage sheds or related outbuildings not exceeding 300 square feet of ground space. It was 250, we've already done that.
Can we go back to section 3 and section 4 for a minute? Because
Sure.
everything I'm seeing indicates garages and storage sheds, and section 3 and section 4 specifically state private residential garages and private storage sheds. Consistency of language,
Oh,
should we
yes.
modify that to be consistent with the other sections? Because if you look at the language added in section 1, it's garages and related outbuildings.
Uh-huh, good point. If we're going for consistency.
That's the kind of details we need to.
And why is it in an R1, why is it marked private residential? It would automatically be private residential unless the property had a variance for a business.
Yeah, it might be that we're just striking the word private.
So should it be strike private residential garages and then strike private storage sheds or related outbuildings?
We would just strike private.
Is that more consistent with what you're,
The only other thing is, it specifically says residential garages.
yeah, because
Well,
we're in
you also
R,
have the commercial one is gonna not be commercial, it's not gonna be residential. So it can't be.
but it's in an
So-
R1.
Right, so then if that's the case, then the R3 should say residential garages.
You could.
I think that's duplicitous language because you're already in an R1, you're in a residential. So of course it's going to be private and residential. It should just say garages not to exceed 1,000 square
So,
feet of
We
ground
have,
space.
we actually have a definition for private garage in
Okay,
our code, so that we should retain, it's not private residential garage, it's just private garage.
okay,
A building accessory to a dwelling for the storage of vehicles, tools, or other personal property owned or used by the owner or tenant of the dwelling.
No, I just need one.
Now, because it says private garage, and it refers to a dwelling, that should be the term that we use in the residential districts.
Okay, if that is the listed definition, then that is the term that should be used.
Yes.
But in the commercial districts, it should not.
Is there a separate definition now for the commercial? Since that has been or is recommended to be added.
Well, when a definition is not found in the code, you go to its ordinary definition, which is what you would find customarily in a dictionary. So
Okay,
that one, we have a definition for public garage, and we have a definition for private garage.
okay,
A public garage is one open to the general public with or without charge for the storage of vehicles. We're not dealing with that here.
Right.
So we
So
don't
it's-
want to call anything a public garage.
so we need to strike residential. It
Yeah.
should just be private garages and
Correct.
private sheds or related outbuildings.
Yeah.
Okay. And that needs to be adjusted throughout. 'Cause That
Residential districts.
does repeat.
I think the only place it may be is R1, but we could check. But I mean, it's the
Or
only,
three.
you know, R3, we would need to add private garages. We don't need, there's no residential there to add.
Okay. So where is that one for the R3? We haven't gotten to it yet, I don't think.
Well, we had, and I made us go backwards.
Okay. Say again?
Section 5.
Section,
Now, I will say this, there is no term for sheds in our code.
okay, so
So
there's no definition of a shed.
the fact that you need to call it storage shed or related outbuilding, that's just a term.
All right, what does the dictionary say? If that's our default, if we don't have a definition, what does Webster's call a shed? Or describe a shed?
Words not defined above shall have the meanings as given in the Webster's Unabridged Dictionary. So there we go. That's what it says in our code, so that's where we go.
Merriam-Webster, shed definition and meaning. Oh, that's a verb.
Or two shed,
Yeah.
two shed.
Something such as this, no,
It says a slight structure built for shelter or storage.
yeah, there you
Okay. All right,
go.
so
Slight structure.
all right, so you said for under section 1 for the downtown, that should be private garages or public garages? Same
We
for
don't
the
have any
sheds.
public garages.
So you don't need to change anything, let's go through this.
Okay,
Section 1 downtown commercial, you don't need to change anything,
okay,
because it's not a private garage, because it's not related to a dwelling.
okay,
So we're just going to the normal usage.
Okay.
Same thing with storage sheds, we don't have a defined term for storage sheds anymore.
okay.
If you then go to section 3,
3, we strike residential.
we strike residential and say private garages.
Okay,
I believe we could probably strike private from storage sheds because that terminology,
there is no term of private storage
Correct.
shed,
so we just call it storage
so
shed.
strike private.
So we're not saying either, right?
And then in section
Yours
5,
yours
Section
printed a
3.
little different than mine.
Section 3.
sorry, section
Section
4,
3, we strike,
I got
hold on.
residential.
we strike residential there. Section 4, we strike private. And then that changes to 300.
Right, yeah, that's what I thought,
Okay.
because I did
All right.
that once.
Are we,
Where do we end up on?
are there any more instances that need to be?
Residential here and. this
in
is-
section 5, we'll add the term private.
Private. All right,
On where?
okay. Section 5,
Yeah,
down here, we're gonna add private.
okay.
Sorry, my teacher's marks are coming out. I'm using my little
Private.
correction marks.
Garages.
Is that the only change there?
And
Yes, because storage shed stays the way it is.
Okay.
so it's, and that goes to
Right.
250 goes to
Site
300.
accessory buildings
Yes.
other than.
And 250 goes to 300 there.
6.3.4B.
Yeah.
Down on 7K, it says other than garages, should that be private?
We could put private in there.
Okay, if we're going for consistency. So section 7, part K,
Okay, yeah. Right here.
garages, so we're gonna insert there and put private.
Okay, insert private before garages, I'm
Yeah.
sorry, okay.
And that goes for
Now,
8,
I'm also looking at the term of 2.5,
2 and 1/2,
2.5.
yes. Yeah,
And
it's
35
actually,
feet.
7K is not written right. 2 and 1/2. Where everywhere else you have 2 and 1/2.
Well, that's crossed out on mine, to start with.
Yeah, no, no, it's the language. See, this is numeric.
Oh, 2
And
and
they're
2
changing
and half.
everything is changed to 2 and 1/2.
The words.
Yes, the
Yes.
words.
So it should be 1 that says it's 2.
How did we get into grammar?
Yeah.
That's not how we usually go. All right, so, there's also the same adjustment in 8. On H for
So-
private garages.
So in 7K,
Mhm.
if we're indicating other than private garages, the next sentence, wouldn't it be private garages?
Yes,
on that?
yes. I didn't see that one.
Okay, just wanted to make sure, because I hadn't heard that.
Yeah, we already done that.
So yeah, there's 2 instances of private garage in K.
Yeah, there's another in
8. Are we
Yes,
on
8,
now?
H
Yeah.
also has
Section 8
2.
of the proposal, which includes H.
Okay, now
Okay.
did this change, this says, garage shall not,
Garage here should have private in front of it.
right, but this,
And
does
that
this
20
change
goes to
25?
25.
Yeah, that's what I was, thought so.
Okay,
Okay, so
section,
you're changing
right, so
this.
because section 8 is basically a copy of section 7, are we all okay with that?
I'm sorry, repeat.
Section 8 is essentially the same as section 7, it's just different zones. Are
Okay,
we okay with that?
And principal, 35 feet, the height of accessory buildings other than private garages, its insertion shall not exceed 15 feet in height.
here it says, height of 20 feet and goes to 25.
Mm-hmm.
We're still back in K, we're trying to,
That's okay.
Yeah, K I got, now
okay.
H,
H is identical with the same edits,
all right, hold on.
except for the 2 and 1/2.
You're on, you got it.
So 20 goes up to 25.
Mhm.
Yes. 2 instances of private garage. And then the strike at the bottom is the same. So we can,
Incidentally, as tedious as this may seem. I
No,
wanna
no,
say
this is
we've
all
got-
for clarity.
This is the kind of thing we really need to have straight.
It's what we call death by paper cut.
Yeah,
Really?
But you guys, you're making great progress.
yeah, we're 2/3 of the way through. So are we all okay with 8H?
yes.
Okay, so we'll go on to 9, highway commercial. This one's a little different. 6.5.5, accessory uses, buildings, structures. The following are permitted, provided that they are subordinate and accessory to the principal building or use in existence or under construction of the same lot, incidental thereto. And there shall be no more than 5 accessory buildings to a lot. That is different from all the others. A, garages. B, storage sheds or related buildings. Now, so that is a total of both of them, no more than 5. So you have one principal structure and 5 substructures, no matter what they are.
Yeah.
That's how that's
So
worded,
we're gonna have
correct?
5
Now,
garages.
these would not be
You would
private.
have
garages.
You
5
can have
garages.
5 garages, yeah, in highway commercial, out there on the highway,
Great.
where they've got
Well, we're
room
more
for.
likely to have 2 garages and 3 storage sheds.
Right, however, it's 5 total.
But isn't that what it was on the R1 and R2? Isn't
No.
that 5 total?
There was,
There's language that we put, if you go to section 13.
I said, we're not there yet.
Okay,
We're not there
okay.
yet, yeah.
Okay, well, wait
That
till
was
we get there.
increased in the residential, it was increased from 2 to 3, but we're not to that yet. So you're on it, you're on it, it's okay. So section 9, are we all okay with that?
Yeah.
And this is all language that's being added because there was no language there.
And we don't have to put private there because this is not.
It's not private, yep. All right, section 10, to amend section 6.5.4, highway commercial dimensional regulations. To add the following to underline add the following underlined language, which would be section 8, no accessory building or structure shall be closer to the front property line than the principal building on the same lot.
In other words, don't put your shed out front of the
Yeah.
business.
Now, just as a question, because in our last meeting, we approved storage shed business, which that piece of property is a little odd. The address is the front of the store. But all those sheds face out as display. It's product, it's not a storage, it's not being used as a storage shed.
Right.
So that's the delineation.
Yeah.
Okay. Just, I don't want him to get in trouble. He just got approved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair question.
All right, two. So are we all okay with that? Section
Yeah.
10?
Yeah.
Okay. Amend section 11, to amend section 6.6 in the manufacturing and light industrial to add the following underlined. 6.6.7, accessory uses, building structures, the following are not permitted, provided they are subordinate and accessory to the.
Are permitted.
You said are not.
Oh, I'm sorry. The following are permitted, provided they are subordinate and accessory to the principal building or use in existence or under construction on the same lot and incidental thereto, and that there shall be no more than 5 accessory buildings on the lot. A, garages, B, storage sheds, and related outbuildings. So this is the same as section 9, but for manufacturing.
That one, to me, is different. And I don't know what kind of limits we want to put on it, but
Well, most of your manufacturing are large structures.
I mean, I work in one, I work in Mike Miller's.
And
I'm thinking he put up 2, this is not in our jurisdiction, so it doesn't matter.
no, but it's an example.
But he's put up 2 tents
Oh, they're temporary
next to the
structures.
building. Yeah, they're temporary,
Yeah, and that-
temporary for 20 years.
well,
I don't know. The whole building's new and
so,
I'm just thinking about, and then he's got,
would they just be considered covered storage?
yeah.
Or
Yeah,
outdoor
covered storage,
covered
that-
storage? Yeah, so I think that negates, that's not I don't think that's a structure.
Accessory buildings on a lot.
Yeah. All right, so are we fine with the limit of 5 on industrial?
Yeah.
The only thing I can think of is with industrial, sometimes you have auxiliary structures that are for safety. Say, tank enclosures that are not accessed by staff unless for maintenance purposes. Something that has to be kept separate from the rest of the building. It's hazardous material, it's kept in a separate structure, yes, it counts as all auxiliary building, but it's not storage.
But what,
I'm just asking if you think
yeah, I'm
five is
thinking,
enough.
there's some specific types of businesses, like the, feed mills that we
Right.
have here. Have
That's what I'm asking,
several
do we
access-
think that five
In
is
fact, the whole
enough?
thing is accessory buildings,
They're not in town limits.
but they're,
Yeah,
I
they're not
don't know
in
that
town
we're,
limits. Yeah,
And
I'm just
again,
thinking of what we have here in town. We have several large manufacturing
yeah, we do.
structures, and they're pretty well self-contained within one large building, but a lot of them do have several small outbuildings.
Yeah, yeah, and I'd like to
To
think
store
that,
heating oil in a contained structure, to store volatiles in a
so I
contained
would think,
structure.
like he said, Warrior said that in something like that, that would be a necessity. They could come and get a variance for that. I mean, if they had something come up, correct, like
let's say,
chemicals or something they needed to contain separately.
Well, they're gonna have the ability to have 5,
Right,
so if they wanted to have another one, they're gonna have to come and get a use variance.
right. That's what I'm saying. They said they could
yeah,
if
So,
they needed it.
That's what I'm saying.
and that's not out of the realm of
Generally,
possibility here, if somebody buys it,
Yeah,
well, I don't know what's going on with the old James Township building, and
generally-
they want separate buildings for chemicals outside the building, that may become that 5 number might be inadequate.
so
I don't
here and
know how
again
we-
is how many times do we want to have create variances?
Well, that's not gonna be a lot, I mean, if that does happen, it wouldn't create a flood.
Yeah, I can tell you that the workshop that we had, council's missing, because they just wanted to keep it
Consistent. Yeah.
So this is part of that. So, if it comes down the pipe that maybe manufacturing, light industrial, that number needs to be increased or decreased.
Yes, we can always recommend a change.
Yeah, I'll go with that, especially when it's a part of our recorded discussion right now.
Yeah.
We can conceive of some businesses in the manufacturing that might wanna use some of the properties we actually have available for that might need that, and we will do what we need to, well, within reason, to accommodate them within the,
I think 5 for right now is okay. That fits in with what we already have existing. That doesn't put anybody out. I know new process is outside of town limits, but Penn Fiber is not.
And also say it's an increase from 2, which is the current one.
It's only limited to 2. Ouch.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
There's things in the town that we go,
Yeah.
there's.
Yeah,
It
there's
is an
problems.
improvement.
Yeah, so it is an improvement.
Yeah, so that was the goal.
Okay.
And the other thing was that with the increase to 5, anything above that would necessitate coming to,
Right.
the commission for oversight.
Right.
As to, well, why do you need, additional ones versus say, putting it at 10 where they could put 10 with just coming in for building permits.
Right.
It provides the additional oversight as.
That's
people
true.
need it.
That is true, especially with industrial. I think having that bit of oversight.
not that we wanna be against industrial, but we do wanna.
Yeah. I mean, if if they come in because they need to store something hazardous, I think that we should have that oversight.
Discussion.
Yeah. So I'm okay with 5 if everybody else
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
Yes, yes,
Yes.
yes,
Yes.
yes. Okay. Section 12, amend section 6.6.6, manufacturing and light industrial dimensional regulations, to add the following underline and remove the following striked. So I'll read what's being removed first. Accessory structures shall occupy no more than 10% of the lot. And accessory structures shall be located in the rear yard lot area. Both of those have been struck and their numbers. It has since been renumbered to section 9, no accessory building or structure shall be closer to the front yard property line than the principal building on the same lot. Section 10, accessory structures shall be located at least 45 feet from the rear line.
I will say that 45 foot
That's a
exists
big-
already.
Okay. For the, currently in industrial, it's just being renumbered.
Correct.
Okay.
Because we removed the 10%
Right.
lot. I mean, that one was, should somebody that's developing their property industrial use be limited only 10%, to your point about maybe there's hazardous substances
Yeah.
being stored in a separate building.
Yes.
This gives more, it removes that limitation.
Okay.
And then at the workshop, council, their position was, well, let's be consistent, we don't necessarily want these kind of structures in the front of the building, but we don't want to say they have to just be behind the building.
Right.
There might be room to the side or right adjacent.
Yeah, we have
to-
some really odd shaped lots.
Sure, so this gave a little more flexibility there.
Up here, James Thompson, you have no room behind.
Yeah, you have to go sideways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got the railroad tracks.
That's right.
And if you look just outside of town at, Delaware Electric Cooperative, where they have their big building, which is their storage facility,
Mhm.
that is their accessory building, and it is massive.
It's bigger
I've
than the
been inside.
offices. Yeah.
Right, I've been inside, and in this particular case, if you're restricting that, what room do you have left to put that?
Right. So are we okay with section 12? Yes.
Yes.
Yep, okay. All right. Section 13, amend section 5.3.2, accessory uses, buildings and structures, to add the following underlined language and remove the following strike through. So I'm going to read this twice because the strike through is right in the middle. No more than 2 accessory buildings shall be permitted on any lot, including a detached garage. That has now been changed to no more than 5 accessory buildings shall be permitted on any lot, including a detached garage. Now, that says accessory, that doesn't say a zone.
That would apply to all the zones.
All right. So that means even in residential, if you have a garage, you can have 4 outbuildings if you have the property for it.
Right.
And meet the 45%
Yeah,
coverage.
you should have to meet the others,
Yeah.
setbacks and all this.
Hold on, I want to think about this. Because we do have, like for R1, in our current, ordinance, where is, let's see, downtown. R1 district accessory uses. Okay, so we didn't have any number of buildings, on section 4 of the ordinance we're proposing.
Correct.
That dealt with R1, there were no quantity.
Well, there was an overall one of 2. So this section 13 that we're looking at right now,
Yes, that will
it was
apply,
previously 2 for all districts.
okay.
So what we're doing
So
is changing it to
wasn't
5
It
for
was
all
districts for all
districts.
districts.
And we have no conflicting language in any of the other.
That's correct.
Okay.
Okay,
Are we okay with section 13?
yes.
Yes, okay. And of course, last but not least, the effective date shall take immediate effect immediately upon its adoption by the council. So,
I have I don't want to jump the gun here, but and we have to leave it for public comment. I see we do have a gentleman here, distinguished gentleman. I don't know if he wishes to speak on the matter, but certainly is able to do so if he wishes.
no, sir?
All right, so no public comment, so, the
So-
commission can, and I've gone through and made, notations.
I'll give you mine too if you
And
want.
if you'd like, I can
Make sure.
perhaps recite a motion that incorporates those, and you can check to make sure I've kept caught them all, if that's all right. Mr. Chairman.
Okay, that's fine.
So a motion to approve, motion to recommend approval of ordinance number A25, subject to the following amendments. In section 1, on 6.4.5B, change from 250 feet to 300 square feet. In section 2, section 6.4.4, 4, change where it says garage shall not exceed the height of 20 feet to 25 feet. In section 3 of the proposed ordinance, in section A, strike the phrase residential so that it reads private garages. In section 4, section B, strike the phrase private so that it just reads storage sheds. And then in 250 square feet, change that to 300 square feet. In section 5, in section A of that, insert the word private in front of garages. And in section B, change 250 feet to 300 square feet. In section 7, section K, change to from 2.5 to 2.5. Add the word private in front of garages and change 20 feet to 25 feet.
There are 2 instances of private garage in K.
Mhm.
And we'll
Second
change-
line and the third line.
We can change in both of those instances.
Okay.
And in section 8, paragraph H, we would insert the word private in front of garages in both instances and change 20 feet to 25 feet.
Okay.
Then and I believe those are all the changes that were recommended by the commission.
Yeah, now we made reference to,
Yes.
you brought up to our point that there are some of these values that we've changed in this.
Well, we're gonna get to that next.
Okay.
Are we gonna add, down in section 13 where it's talking about, no more than 2, actually 5 now? Can we add language that says all zones, just so we
It
put,
already is.
It's
It is.
part of that section.
That section deals with all
532
zones.
is a broad section that covers all zones.
okay,
So
So that's-
it's part of it.
it's understood already? Okay,
Yeah.
because Kurt wasn't understanding, and so I'm just making sure that we understand that that does cover all.
And then as part of the motion that I was reciting, I'll get back to it, also move that council, look into amending the ordinance to make similar changes regarding the square footage, the height, and related terminology in other zoning districts that were not noted in this ordinance. I hope this Chisenhall, but I don't know if somebody would wish to make that a motion.
I will make that motion.
I don't
if
think you
nobody-
can make that.
Oh, I
You're
can't,
the
I
chairman.
can't. So somebody else needs to make the motion to recommend consistency with what we've chosen through the rest of our zoning code, right?
I'll go ahead and, I don't have to, if somebody else wants to.
No.
Somebody do it.
I'll make the motion that, that we make the recommendations as just listed.
Nice second.
All right, so that's for this, correct? So you gave the recommended motion for this,
What?
but we need a separate one for the recommendation.
No, I incorporated that.
You put it all together as one? Okay,
Yes, and I
okay,
believe
never
Mr.
mind.
Westfall, you
Yep.
heard both parts of my motion, the recommendation for approval with conditions, and the recommendation that council also look into amending other sections of code not addressed by this ordinance to.
Yes, that is, I
And Ms.
understand.
Patterson, you seconded that
Yes.
motion, Mr. Westfall.
Okay, sorry, I missed that. I thought we were doing two separate pieces.
That's all right, there's a lot going on.
Yeah.
No worries, Mr. Chairman.
All right, so we have a motion and a second. We have ayes. Aye. So moved. All right, thank you, sir. Thank you, everybody, for going through
Yeah,
that.
thank you for being so thorough with the exercise, it's always helpful to have those.
When I looked at it the other day, I said, there are so many little tiny pieces of minutia in this. It's gonna take a while.
That's my favorite.
Yeah,
So I need a motion from somebody to adjourn, if that's what we wish.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second. Oh, hold on, Madam has a
He
question.
said there was, I thought, sir, that you said there was something else that we needed to get to in just a minute and.
Nope.
No, he rolled it
We
all
got to
together.
it?
I rolled it
Oh,
into the
okay.
motion.
I made the same mistake. I thought we had to do two parts.
I was like, wait a minute,
No.
let's not go home and miss something.
Motion to adjourn. Do I have a second?
Yes, I second.
Ayes?
Aye.
Aye, so adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
Bye.
Blah, 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 blah.
I.